Welcome to Upfront with Waheed Hussain. As you know that the standoff between America and the Iranians continue, and Islamabad is still waiting to host both the countries. Uh, I have a very prominent guest with me, former Secretary of Defense, Lieutenant General retired, Mr. Khalid Naeem Lodhi. Thank you very much, sir, for joining.
It's a
Straight,
pleasure.
I'll
It's a
ask you
pleasure. Thank you.
sir, we have seen that a new statement on the X has been uploaded by the American president, in which he has ordered his troops that they should shoot down the boats which are laying mines um, around the Strait of Hormuz or in those waters. So, what is your assessment and response to this, the kind of order that the American president has issued?
The order looks quite dangerous, but let me share with you that this is no time for laying mines. Mines are normally not laid during war, they're always
Yes.
laid before war, and most of the mines have been already laid. So I think this is, you can say, an upmanship from Trump to give a message to his own public and others who are watching him that he's strong and he's giving one order after another. So this also, I think, indicates that ultimately the thing will move towards negotiations, towards talks, because he has already shown his strength in a way, whether somebody has taken that or not, and he has got a face saving. So if tomorrow, you must have heard that he always takes name of somebody on whose behest he has gone for a ceasefire or something. He would normally say that uh, uh, Field Marshal Asim Munir and Prime Minister requested me to extend the ceasefire, and I have done it. So I think you will also hear very soon that somebody has requested him to start the talks, and either you finish the siege, the blockage which they have done, or something of that sort. So I don't think this new statement is going to change things in a big way. It is a small irritant anyway.
The second aspect of his statement was that there is some kind of a confusion within the Iranian ranks leadership, because there are so many center of powers, as he was mentioning. Um, there are different layers of the security forces that the Iranian system do have, and similarly their political system, then their spiritual system. So that is, he was just giving that statement, indicating that the Iranians are unable to take a final decision because they don't have a center of gravity or a center of power. So, how you will respond to that?
I think we all know that Israel and America, they already had moles within the polity of Iran. Some of them were also within their forces and also maybe in the political hierarchy, but most of them were exposed. So this may be a desire from his side that the Iranians should be splitted, and there should be a standoff or some sort of misunderstanding or tension between the political hierarchy and IRGC. But I don't think so. This is the case because Iranian has given very clear statement. There are no duality in their statements. Whatever I have heard so far, they are just saying that blockade is an act of war, and blockade and negotiations cannot go together. Blockade, ceasefire with blockade means nothing. These are their statements, and there's no other statement. But if there were statements conflicting, somebody saying that we want to talk, somebody saying that we don't want to talk, they have said very clearly they want to talk, and they have only laid down this condition for the talks, that this blockade should be lifted. I do not see any other statement within whatever is coming out from Iran. If you have heard anything, you may share with me, then we can discuss later. Otherwise, I think this is his desire that there should be a split within the ruling class of Iran. Actually, it is not there.
There are certain tactical actions being taken both by the Iranians as well as by the American troops in those waters, Persian Gulf, Gulf of Oman, as well as Arabian Ocean. And today we have heard that in the Indian Ocean, one of the vessels which was moving away from the Iran, or which left Iran for some destination, it is not being shared. This news is being shared on the Al Jazeera that the American troops have captured that. They have naturally, dropped their troops through the alleys, and then they were being seen over there. Similarly, we have seen some footage of the Iranian troops. They are climbing to one of the vessels which they have taken over. So, what kind of a message both the parties are giving to each other as well as to the world?
I think for the world, it is to I think to understand that this agreement, peace agreement, or this ceasefire, which has been, there's no limit played on the timing, is quite fragile, and it can break anytime. And I think both sides are playing brinkmanship. Otherwise, to capture a ship in the open Indian Ocean is a very strange thing, because it means that it was not in the Straits of Hormuz. It was not neither trying to enter the Strait of Hormuz, nor it had just exited the Strait of Hormuz. Somewhere in the Indian Ocean and the open seas, this probably one helpless ship has been captured. It means nothing. Whatever Iranians are showing, I do not know which part of the most probably they are showing the some actions within the Strait of Hormuz, a little in or little out. So actually, this is all brinkmanship. They are just trying to pressurize each other, so that once they sit on the negotiating table, they have something to bargain. That is what I can see. Otherwise, these are, as you said, these are tactical actions, all right. These are dangerous actions. These can escalate. But both sides understand it very well that any big time escalation is in nobody's interest. Not in American interest, not in Iranian interest, not in the world's interest. Yes, it is only interest in the interest of Israel and maybe one odd country like Russia.
Well, the Iranians say that until this blockade is being lifted by the Americans, they are not coming to the negotiation table because that would be, considered as under pressure. So it means that Americans are willing. There are some advanced, officials or a party there already have arrived in Islamabad many days back. So how both the parties will take some kind of a pragmatic decision, so that they can sit together and start talking, because Islamabad is waiting for last almost 8 days, and naturally all the arrangements have been made by the government of Pakistan.
You see, the ceasefire is there. It was Americans' demand that Strait of Hormuz should be opened. Once it was opened, they closed it. And now Iran is demanding that it should be opened, and there should be no blockade, because blockade of any port actually means an act of war. So I think if they are talking from the war perspective and from the laws of war, it is quite evident that whatever they are saying is correct. In my own opinion, because always Trump is in a very difficult situation. He has to play to his own people, which mostly are against this war making thing. The Europeans are away from him. The NATO is not joining him. So it is only the interest of Israel that is being served by prolonging this war, because they have already captured southern Lebanon, and they have also said they will not go back. So if there's any winner of this war so far, that is Israel, because they have captured some land and they don't want to give it up. So it is for them to understand, for Americans to understand, that whom are they serving? Is it serving the interest of America or the Middle Eastern countries? Where there's a split, of course. One or two countries they want this war to continue, whereas most of the countries they want it to end. So I think Trump will be looking for some big face saving and some opportunity to declare that he has won the war, and now he's coming on the table, and probably the conditions of Iranians will be met before the talks start. This is my assessment.
That's great. What are those countries that you are referring? That couple of countries are still in Middle East. I mean, the GCC countries. They are interested to continue this war, and why they are interested?
Without naming the countries, I would say that they are quite apprehensive of a resurgence Iran, because in their opinion, if Americans leave this place, or they become weakened in this area, their presence becomes weakened and it is replaced by some other forces. So Iranians may assert themselves even more as compared to what they are doing now. So that is their fear. I'm not taking the names, because you see Pakistan is establishing these negotiations and is acting as a mediator. So we have to be ruthlessly neutral in our
Okay,
analysis, in our
that
approach.
that that's great. That's great. The American government has fired their Secretary of Navy and John Palin, and we have seen that Chief of Staff of Army uh, of United States of America during this war was also removed, and either he was asked to resign or he was being fired. And the news that we see on the American media is that the Secretary of War has a kind of a differences with all these officials. So is it that the people who are controlling these organizations, I mean the Navy, the Army, even the Air Force, there may be some kind of a disagreement with the State Department or the administration of the Trump, that they don't want to continue this whatever is happening in the Middle East at the moment. Do you think that it was because of the differences these officials are leaving?
I will make 2 points in this regard. The first is that it is a known lesson of history that if any side starts changing horses during the battle or during wars, it
Hmm.
means that they have a defeatist mentality in their mind. That is one. The other is that you see the generals, the admirals, the air force commanders, air marshals. They are trained and they are educated uh, to know that how wars are fought, to know when to do which maneuver. So they have a professional orientation as far as wars are concerned. Whereas this is true that the wars must be controlled by political hierarchy, but political hierarchy normally lays down the objectives, that these are the political objectives that we want to attain, and then the war making is solely left to these professionals, the generals, the admirals, the marshals. So I think that is not happening, and that would be one big reason that why America will not succeed in this war, because they are not leaving the prosecution of war to the professionals. I think this is a big factor that goes against the objective that they want to achieve.
So, according to your assessment, that the papers which were being exchanged both by the Americans and the Iranians through Pakistan, do you think that at the moment the whole focus is on the Strait of Hormuz or the waters, in the Middle Eastern countries, but the con- the, the bigger issues, the issue of the civil nuclear program or the nuclear program for Iran, on the basis of which the Americans and the Israelis started this war last year as well in June, and then once again, recently. Uh, do you think that the work is going on those two papers? Especially the Iranians are considering the proposals given by the Trump administration, and time and again we have heard Trump saying that we have given a paper and we are waiting for response from the Iranians. So it means that the Iranians are working on it, Americans are working on it, and once they are finalized, then definitely they'll be traveling to Islamabad.
You see, the two big issues still are the nuclear issue and the sanctions issue.
Yeah.
And these two are connected. Iran will not accept any conditions of non-enrichment, as they had already acceded earlier also, unless there's a reciprocative action as far as lifting of sanctions is concerned. So that stays the main issue, and then nearly very closely followed by the Strait of Hormuz. Strait of Hormuz is more for the world consumption and for their own internal consumptions. The main issue between America and Iran are two, that Americans want zero proliferation and zero enrichment regime for some years, and those years can be negotiable. They said for 20 years, and they were saying for 5 years, whatever. But it cannot happen without lifting the sanctions. So I think that is the sticking point, that whether the sanctions should be lifted uh, all 100% or in stages. And similarly, then Iranians will say, okay, then we will also, as far the enrichment is reduced, we will reduce it in stages, because that is what must be being negotiated. And also there's a problem about that 45 kgs of enriched uranium, which is already with the Iranians. So I think the main issue still remains the same that you have indicated. The others are the secondary issues.
Right. We have seen that the European countries have been, arranging certain meetings today. Even the French president and the British Prime Minister, they held a meeting with the European countries, and they are talking about something providing a security to the strait after this conflict is over. But the Iranians, in one of their statements a couple of days back, they have said that it is irrelevant kind of a thing that they are going to provide a security. So how you see, is it only to remain relevant to the existing situation, since most of the European countries refuse to America provide them any physical support for this war? Even some of the countries refuse to provide their air bases. So do you think it's only to remain relevant, or it has some kind of a substance?
I think it is important because most of the world is now preparing for the post-war scenario. Uh, what are the likely outcomes after the agreement is reached, and some permanent ceasefire takes place? The world is thinking on those lines. So it is quite obvious, I think, excuse me, that the influence of America in Middle East is going to get reduced, and then somebody has to take that place. So maybe Europeans are preparing for that, but on this side, Chinese and Russians are also making their preparations. And you must have also heard that Pakistan is trying to forge a wider consensus among countries like Egypt, like Turkey, like Qatar, like Saudi Arabia, and maybe others, because Pakistan alone will not be able to guarantee a long-term peace in this region. We would require help of others. Although now we have also gone with a defense pact or agreement. The details are not known with Qatar, which means that the countries, the major countries of this region, they rely on the capacity and capability of Pakistan. And Pakistan, in turn, is trying to forge a wider consensus and trying to bring more countries within this, ambit. So I think what Europeans are trying, they do understand that after the shrinkage of influence of America in this region, the expansion of Chinese and Russian influence is more likely. So they would like to contest that, and they would like to forward their own influence in this area. And Pakistan and some Muslim countries are trying the third. You can say there's a third block. But I think this Pakistan, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Egypt thing is more likely to prevail because it also has the backing of China. This is what I sense. These preparations which we keep hearing, these are post-war preparations. And what Iran is saying, because they are still in war, so they are saying it in that mood. So let us see which way the things go. Most probably, the talks will resume after a bit of hiccups, and of course, the things will not be decided immediately in one sitting. It is going to take some time. It will come bit by bit, but the most sticking point about nuclear and the sanctions, that probably will be the first thing to get settled, and then Strait of Hormuz, and then other things.
Last question. Naturally, the time is running out for President Trump because he has to visit the China, which is a bigger table waiting for him. A lot of issues that he is going to, settle down or discuss with the Chinese. Both are the biggest economies in the world, and both have a kind of a competition with each other. Do you think that the American president would like to wind up this, project as early as possible? And as you were referring in your early talk, that maybe in a couple of days or maybe 3 days time, he may be saying that, oh, okay, because of some certain, very influential people and friends of America, we want to lift this blockade that which were being was being imposed, and come on the table and settle down the issues. Do you think the time is running out for President Trump?
There can be two scenarios. One is that President Trump wants to settle this issue while in China. So that way they are buying time, and they are not, they're not feeling the crunch of this shortage of time. But I think the better scenario is, and the most probable scenario is, that he will like to settle it first and then go to China, because there are so many other things that they have to talk to China other than this. So most probably, what you are indicating is likely to come out as true. That in the next few days, there will be some talks, there will be some resolution, there can be a permanent ceasefire, and then properly kept, he can go to China. If that doesn't happen, there can be a third scenario also. If he doesn't want to go to China without solving this issue or resolving this issue, then he might postpone the visit to China or delay it. So out of these three, let us see what happens.
Thank you very much,
It
Khalid
was a
Naeem
pleasure.
Lodhi, for your precious time. Former Defense Secretary, Government of Pakistan. Thank you very much, sir.
It's a pleasure. Assalamu alaikum.